Hello and welcome to the Photo Op Podcast, the podcast where we talk about all things photo and video. I'm Ben Lucas.
And I'm Stuart Marlantis.
And this is a very special holiday gear guide episode for all of those willing to burn a hole in their pockets for themselves or those they love.
It's the holidays. I mean, you probably have people on your list to give gifts. Hopefully, some photographers out there, and if not, you can buy some gifts for yourself.
Or if people are asking you, hey, what gifts do you want, and you're not quite sure because all you have on your list is that $2,000 lens. Well, here's some significantly cheaper options for the holidays.
Yeah. So I guess I'll start with something that you can't see, but has been critical to the production of this podcast and to my own work for my day job, among other things. And that is a cheap Panasonic mirrorless camera, Micro Four Thirds camera. We're recording this on a G85. I also have my own G85. I think they're awesome. They go on sale all the time. I've seen them on sale around the holidays. I see them on sale constantly.
Yeah.
They're great. Tremendous bang for your buck.
So I actually bought a G85 for two different reasons. The very first reason was that I was vlogging on very heavy, very expensive cameras. And I'm like, hey, this is silly. I need a small camera with a flip screen and something that is a lot cheaper so I can burn out a $500 sensor instead of $4,000 sensor.
Yep.
And when it finally came on sale, pulled the trigger. I'm like, cool, awesome. But also, I didn't have 4K video capability because all my Canon DSLRs are only 1080. You Sony shooters over there don't know what the heck I'm talking about, but it solved another issue for me that when I have a client that has a specific need, I can now fulfill that need. All I needed was a cheap camera and an adapter, put some expensive glass on it, and it looks pretty darn good.
Yeah, I mean, you can get even the used market for these is quite healthy, and you can get some really nice stuff. Mine I bought used from somebody who used it as like a B cam. It was like in a permanently installed location. They never touched it, so like it saw some hours of use, but it was never beat up. Like there's a lot of these out there. You can get them really cheap. You can get them new cheap. You can get them used in good shape really cheap. And I use mine all the time. It is, at the very least, it's great to flex on your coworkers if you're still living that like remote life. If you've got like actual bokeh in the background from your camera, like people take notice. I have been in some meetings with some very like wealthy, high level individuals that are like, "Wow, your setup's better than mine." I'm like, "Yeah, well, I care, I guess." You should care too. So use it, get one, enjoy it, use it as your A cam or your B cam or whatever, and make it your webcam and use the heck out of them. They're awesome.
Yeah, there you go.
And if you break them, you didn't break a $3,000 camera.
It's true.
Yeah.
Try not to break your cameras, but
try not.
It happens.
It does happen.
So I'm going to start with a little stocking stuffer. Gaff tape. This stuff is stupidly expensive. It's like $20 a roll. Does that sound about right?
Sounds about right.
And it's not the most exciting thing, but you go through this a lot. So yeah, get the photographer in your life some gaff tape.
It may not be the most exciting thing to you, but to the photographer in your life, they will be excited.
This is $40 that I'm holding in my hand right now. Just 2 rolls of tape.
The good tape.
Yeah, absolutely.
For sure. The next one is one that I don't have to show, although maybe I should have. It's a wireless lav mic. This is more for you video people or for you photographers that are kind of doing YouTube as an extra grind, I suppose. I have the Rode Wireless Go 2s, which are super popular. I have my own set. I think that they're great. I use them very frequently. Not something that you would record a podcast with, so you're not going to see them on our shirts. We have a little bit bigger, nicer mics for that, but they've worked fantastic. I use them in all sorts of different situations. I've never had any like interference problems. Battery life is really good. Audio quality is really good. Even when you don't use an external mic with them, just their built-in thing works really great. They're not very expensive. It's more like a $100 gift. So, not cheap, but if like you want a substantial gift that will get used a lot, though Rode Wireless Go 2, or there are other options now. DJI has a set out that people like that's a little bit smaller. There's lots of different options, but that's the one that I like.
Well, I mean, the rest of the gifts on my list are starting to creep up into that 3-digit range.
Yeah.
So there's that.
There is that.
The next one that I have is specifically the SanDisk Extreme Portable SSD. So I've got one right here. So this is fabulous. It's small, it's tiny, it's SSD, which means that you can knock it around a little bit while you're traveling, and it holds up just fine. Please don't pay full price for these. They are a little spendy, but they go on sale, and when they go on sale, they are a fabulous deal. I bought mine about 2 years ago, and it's been fabulous for when I go on some kind of trip. The first one, I was hiking through Yellowstone and Glacier National Park, and I didn't want big, bulky backups, so I just had this.
Yeah.
And I even bought like a dongle adapter so I could plug my SD card straight into it and just transfer, not even use a laptop. And then I also took it when I shot a wedding in India.
Excellent.
And so, quick backups on the go. I like international travel. Like, look how thin this is. It was great.
And being an SSD, they're super fast. So you can edit off of them. You can edit 4K video off of them. No problem. Plenty fast for any of that kind of stuff.
Absolutely.
Yeah. My next one is one that I do not own, but it's something that I really like and I aspire to own. This would be more like a gift for myself. It's the
if you're listening and want to get us gifts,
Amaran 24C RGB tube light. I wanted to check and make sure I had the right one. There's also there's T4C is the 4-foot. The T2C is the 2-foot. Amaran is a sub brand of Aperture. I think tube lights are super cool. I don't own one yet. I really would like to own one. These ones are particularly cool in that you can link them all together. Aperture's software is really good. They've got apps and you can like link all of the.
I bought some tube lights for like $10 from a photographer once upon a time, and they have not seen much use.
Yeah,
I thought they were super cool, and I thought I'd be using them as like set pieces and props and stuff.
Yeah, I want one for like set stuff. But yeah, really high output. You can do them in a rack of like 4. They sell a rack to attach them and make them all one huge like diffuse light. I just think they're neat.
They are neat. The next thing that I have on my list, I kind of ordered my list from like cheapest to most expensive. So the next thing that I have on my list is a thing that I own, so I don't need one. But the photographer in your life might. It is the X-Rite Passport Color Checker. I use this every single shoot. If I'm here in the studio, I set it up on the table and I will make sure that those products are perfectly calibrated. If I'm shooting a wedding, oh my God, weddings have the worst mix of light because you might have fluorescence from the like church hallway flooding into a tungsten bulb and a daylight filtered through a weird stained glass window, and you have no idea what your colors are supposed to be. So yes, X-Rite Color Checker. There's a new version of this that is exactly the same. They just kind of messed around with it a little bit and looks slightly different.
Same
but
idea.
It's the same, and it's fabulous and absolutely indispensable.
I think that's one curse of being in the photo video space is you start to care a lot about color rendering quality and color temperature.
Oh, absolutely.
Like, I have been slowly we bought a new place in January, which I guess is like not as new anymore. But I have been slowly working through that house, replacing all of the bulbs with like high color rendering, high color accuracy bulbs, and something that I do over time, and I haven't done for a little while because they're kind of expensive. But boy, is it worth it! Oh, yeah, good light.
Yeah, good light.
Worth paying for.
I mean, when I installed all the lighting in here. If I were to tilt the camera straight up, you'd see that I basically have these, they look like fluorescent tube lights, except they're all LED, and they're all LEDs in a very specific CRI.
Yep.
And this is like the third version of this light that I tested, because the first one I got, I opened it up and I went, nope, it's not right. It's off by like 200 Kelvin. Like, that stuff matters when you start getting persnickety.
Oh, it matters a ton.
Absolutely.
For sure. Now I've got something that I can show. A good Keychain flashlight. So this little flashlight puts out a lot of lumens, at least 500 on turbo. And it is made by Nitecore. It's the Nitecore teeny or tiny 2, however you want to pronounce that. It recharges over USB-C. It's got a lockout so you don't turn it on your pocket and burn your pants. It's great. You don't have to go this crazy. I really like flashlights, high quality flashlights. So I care about this kind of stuff, but just get a good pocket keychain flashlight. I use it literally every day, often multiple times a day, whether it's like looking into a bag to get yourself, because like a lot of bags have, black or like gray, dark color interior. You're like, I can't see anything in there.
And you drop a little like black pin.
You drop like a pin, or you have like a thumb screw or something, you drop it in there, you can't find it. These are great for in your bag. It's the winter time right now, or at least, well, I guess it's the fall still, but we're approaching the official winter time.
It's December. Yeah. It's winter.
But it is
meteorologists can fight me.
It is the dark side of the year, so to speak. So this is very useful. You might be doing shoots that not even go a little bit late. You get outside.
4 p.m. yesterday, I accidentally dropped my keys in the driveway and couldn't find them.
Exactly.
So.
And great for if you're doing any landscape, any photography where you're out either early or late trying to get photos of stuff. This is super helpful for those kind of times. So get one that can fit in your pocket, that you have on you all the time. They're no good if they're sitting in a bag somewhere or in a shelf, desk somewhere, and you don't remember them.
That's true.
That's why I get a smaller one versus one that's just like super high output.
Awesome. Yeah, I do have a couple of those small flashlights, but I always forget to put them in my bag, so they never get used.
That's why I have one attached to my keys. I never
there
forget
you go.
I've got nicer ones, but this is the one that I use the most because it's on me.
So what was the last thing on your list?
Last thing on my list is PC components. So this is both useful for photographers, and that good PC always helpful for editing your photos or videos, but also we just got a new round of components this year from both AMD and Intel. So we're seeing, new GPUs are either out or in the process of coming out right now.
Which means
that the previous generation are cheaper and increasingly cheaper over time. Now, we're in kind of a fun space right now in that there hasn't been like a dramatic leap in performance for the most part in components. So you can use a generation older of motherboards, processors, and even GPUs for the most part and still get fantastic stuff. We're moving to DDR5 in the industry now, which is cool, but just like when we moved from DDR3 to DDR4, everything is super expensive and the performance differences are minimal. So get the one older version of stuff for cheap, and you can still use it for 5+ years. Like, we have really great performance sort of glut right now for your money. So PC components, pretty much anything is relatively cheap right now. So, but rebuild your whole rig. Pretty inexpensive.
Awesome. Well, I had you do your 4 and 5 together so that I can link my Secret Santa to this part of the video. So if you're watching, I don't own these things yet, and
hello,
they
mysterious
would be nice.
Secret Santa.
In my family, we do Secret Santa so that you're not buying every single person a gift, and it's it's just a fun little thing to do on the weekend or holidays, weekend, whatever.
Weekends are holidays.
Words.
Micro holidays.
English. I know speak good. Okay.
So what do you got?
So one is the either Kase or Kase, Kase. It is the Skyeye Professional ND Magnetic Filter Kit.
Ooh, magnetic filters.
Yeah. So filters are kind of a pain point for me because they thread on, which takes a lot of time. But also when the threads get kind of old, they pop off. And once it's popped off one time, that filter is essentially useless because anytime I try and thread it on, it will just pop off again, and it always pops off at the most inopportune moment. It slows me down. It's awful, and so I don't like using filters, but the thing is sometimes I need filters, and sometimes out of pure either frustration, laziness, whatever may have you, I know I will need a filter in a moment, and I will instead compromise the image quality in some other way to get out of using that filter.
Okay.
Because even sometimes I don't have the filter on me. Oh, darn, I didn't bring my circular polarizer. And sometimes I do have the filter on me. Hey, there's the ND. But it would take way too much time for me to find it, fiddle with it in the bag, screw it on, make sure I clean off the fingerprints. Rather, I can just like change the aperture down. And yeah, the background's not what I wanted it to look like anymore, but I can move on with my photo shoot.
Sweet. Sounds good.
So yeah, magnetic filter kit sounded really cool.
Sounds cool to me.
So yeah, both of these last two items are roughly about $300. So I'm not actually expecting my Secret Santa to get it
Secret
for
Santa.
me. Hey, make it rain. No, but the last one, I've had my eye on this, and every single time that they have like a sale on it, or I see it refurbished or whatever, I'm like, oh, cool, and then it's sold out, so I can't actually buy it. And I want it enough that it's still on my list, but not so badly that I'm willing to pay full price for it, because I'm curious more than anything. So Glidegear, I remember back in college there was this company that I bought a ton of stuff from, and I was just kind of obsessed with buying stuff from them, and then I realized their stuff is kind of garbage, and so I stopped buying stuff from them. And I've bought like 2 things from Glidegear, and I don't know how on par their quality is, because their stuff is surprisingly cheap, and I would like to test out. But what this item is, it is a 20-foot stand. Right now, all of my stands can only go up to 12.
So what would you use that for?
No idea.
It's really high.
That's why I don't actually want to pay full retail for it. I have no use for it at the moment. But what could I do with it?
Well, depending on how strong it is, you have that huge softbox, right? So you could replicate the sun, putting a light up 20 feet with a massive.
or what you could do is, if it's air cushioned, you could fake a drone shot by just slowly lowering your tripod.
All right.
I don't know. Or
I'm into
there's interesting implications. I have no idea what I would do with it. I just think it's interesting.
Cool.
I just think it's neat.
Cool.
So yeah, there you go. There is 10 items that we think are cool gift guide type things. So yeah, if you're buying this holiday season, there should be links below to at least most of these. Like, we're not going to link PC components because that is incredibly specific to your build and needs and all that. But all the other stuff, we'll do our best to fill out links down in the description.
For sure.
So thank you guys so much for watching. We pushed. I know last time we said that we were going to talk about LEDs. We broke our promise because the gift guide needed to come out. Well, you guys can still buy stuff for Christmas. But we are going to talk about that coming up next week. So thank you so much, and we'll see you in the next episode.
See you next time.
If you have questions or ideas for future episodes, you can email us at hello@photo-op.show.
Watch us on Ben's YouTube channel at NomCreative.
As in Om Nom Nom.
Share this with a friend, and you can listen to Photo Op anywhere podcasts are sold.
Or download it. 'Cause it's free.